lot of young folks wants to get rich through stock market. What would you advise?
Long cannot become rich. First, you get a job. Whose money are you bringing into the stock market? Your dad's money. So then say, I will make my dad rich. What I've realized is, US is quite corrupt. We always think India में तो बड़ा गलत है. Sports betting. US में तो it's allowed.
One thing that you have learned from Trump.
Trump is a hero of mine. He's a hero. Everything that he said, people said ये थोड़ा करेगा, वो कर रहा है.
Warren Buffett के कौन से स्टाइल से you don't agree with?
I disagree 100% with his bucks because the bucks have not understood what he does. He does not care for what he has written.
What is one thing that you understand as an FII but the retail investor does not?
They know nothing. I don't know how they are investing. They're just wasting their time.
You mentioned Zepto. My next interview is with Adit. What is one thing that you would ask him if you were interviewing him?
I would say कि भाई, please remember, if my Zomato does not do well, you cannot go public. You have to show a path to profitability.
You invested in ABCL, sir. The stock went to zero.
I went to Jaipur.
Rakesh Jhunjhunwala.
हाँ. So मेरे को question पूछा, which fund manager do you admire the most? So I said, I see him in the mirror every day.
I want to know the genesis of, your relationship with Rakesh, sir.
Before he passed away, he called me because I had said something bad about, I think, Tata Motors. So he said, Abbe dash.
Can you tell us about the case that you had with SEBI?
It was super high profile case. And to win and then get a mutual fund license from the same regulator is not a everyday job.
Best business book that you have read?
See, there are two kinds of books. For example, I read Chip War. I made serious money.
What is one thing that you're shorting now?
Right now, we are shorting.
One thing that you don't like about fund managers. Hi everyone, I'm your host Shivank and we are part of the 01 Network by Zerodha. Together, we intend to bring you insights from the top thinkers in the field of entrepreneurship, technology and investing. So let's start with a story, sir. So you moved to Singapore in 1998. And Rakesh, sir, throw a party for you. Tell me that story.
Top.
Yeah.
So nothing. So I had been I moved to India in 1993. So from 93 to 98, I was based in Mumbai. So during that time, I had met all these guys. And then in 95, we started a mutual fund. So we used to talk once in a while, meet at different things. So I was also surprised. So then in 98, I got promoted to being head of Asian emerging markets. I was India head and I became Asian head. So as part of that, one of the, there was an office party and then I gave a party and all that. So one of the parties was hosted by Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, where I think Mr. Damani also came, Radhakrishnan Damani and others. All these Bombay crowd came. And I got a Lakshmi ka, sandalwood ka big, this thing which I still have in my mandir there. So that is the thing.
I want to know the genesis of, your relationship with Rakesh, sir. And how did you end up, making him friends?
No, it's not that way. It is more that we were actually mostly business friends. Business friend ka matlab hota hai ki you're talking more investment. You were not really personal friend to me. He not overdo it. But the thing about him was that he had certain favorite stocks and I had certain favorite stocks. For example, in those days, I was into IT. None of these guys were into IT because they were into the McDowell and ye sab karte the log. So it was more a discussion of ideas. But forget about that. More recently, just before he passed away, he called me because I had said something bad about, I think, Tata Motors on TV, saying ki ye to, which I don't like on the auto industry. So he said, Abbe dash. You will, matlab kya, zindagi bhar roega, not zindagi bhar roega, but something like that. You will regret for the rest of your life or something. So I said, yes. Karke. So, but I used to meet him every 6-9 months when I would come. And he would give ideas. But broadly, I have never followed anybody's ideas like that, because there are many guys who will say we are buying A, B, C. I would do a mix and match of different ideas. Right. We also had a conflict or a debate or disagreement on another stock, which was Delta. So he had a big position. I said, I will not buy.
Reason was sin stock.
We are not telling all these reasons here, but anyway, I didn't buy. And so that one I was right. So anyway, so bottom line is, so it was always about these things. It was not.
And you were the first guy, when he became a billionaire in 2008, he came and told you.
No, he may have told hundreds of guys. I don't know. But I told me also. That is what I not. He was the first guy to tell. No, not at all. I think that's not overplay it. But all I know is that so you read that book.
Yeah, I read that book recently.
Yeah. So in 2007 ki 8, I think 8 hoga. So in 2008 he came, he had come and he was meeting all the fund managers. But I had met him maybe 20 minutes before, and then we went to that lunch place where many other fund managers had come, organized by, I don't know, I forget who, but somebody organized saying if you all want to meet Jhunjhunwala. So everybody had come, maybe 10, 15 guys. So that time he told me, and I found it very cute. Yes.
But you remember आपने कहाँ पर क्या बोला? You got it कि मैंने ये book पढ़ के पूछ रहा हूँ.
नहीं, वो तो मुझे याद है वाली story, because I told this story, that's why I assumed कि उसमें से आई है.
Got it. So
book otherwise was super poorly written.
Yeah.
One of the books that I therefore refused to
endorse.
Like on Twitter say, because in a book you don't expect people to write 4 pages on Titan, 3 pages on CRISIL. But you are writing about Mr. Jhunjhunwala. To fill a book, you don't write 4 pages on a company which has nothing to do.
So who are some Indian authors who write really good books, sir?
Very rarely, I would think.
Tell me a couple of books.
Business books I don't like, but otherwise best book I like, which I've read twice, is Gurcharan Das, The Difficulty of Being Good.
Being good, yeah.
But and that is a good book and good stories. But in business books, I think people don't, because I think either people don't talk freely, or like for example, why shouldn't for every scandal that has happened there be a book which goes in detail
about what happened, what went wrong?
If you see in US, every scam, everything, there is a book, and the books are great fun to read, and maybe you learn 5%, but it's just an interesting story. India में होता ही नहीं.
और इंडिया में ऐसा क्यों होता है कि white people don't share, sir?
They don't share because maybe, I don't know. Generally, you see there are no books on anybody. It's just not there. Nobody's written a good book on Tata or Reliance or the.
Tata पे शायद हरीश भट्ट सर ने लिखी है वो.
Yeah, I didn't read, but I felt, because I just saw one line which I didn't like, that book was not published for 2 years, and as soon as Mr. Tata passed away, it was published. Okay, I saw it on the newspaper only somewhere in some online. That means that book was being, either he was against it or something was, so he didn't, you can check. The last book that came out very recently, that's why I didn't even look at it. Yeah, I don't know. But it looked that there was some angle, but I didn't go into it because I just feel कि लिखते नहीं है ठीक से, what to do, therefore I am not interested.
एक story मैं आपसे और सुनना चाहूँगा before we go deep into other things. You invested in ABCL, sir.
Yeah.
आपने बहुत बार ऊपर से बताया कि you invested, the stock went to zero. But I want to learn, what were your learnings from the incident? You studied the thing. You invested in, and then it went to zero.
50 companies, many companies has gone to zero. But ABCL में क्या हुआ? First time when ABCL wanted to raise money, we said no. Because there was no proper CEO or something, I forget. But then they hired this guy, क्या नाम था? I think Sanjeev Gupta. He was the Coca-Cola India, I think CEO only or something. So he had a profile, and he's also from IIT Delhi. So he became the CEO of ABCL. And Kotak was raising money at 80 rupees. So हमने कहा ठीक है, so that time I think rupee was 4.46, so हमने 4.6 crores डाले थे, I think, so $1 million. So we put $1 million. And actually the problem, and that was the first attempt to corporatize movies, and so which is a decent concept, and then you can do branding and whatever endorsements Mr. Bachchan does. So then one thing that happened was I think they were making 18 movies simultaneously, because they were like the new production houses at that time. And then I think a few movies got stuck, so that led to problems. Second problem was that they had got the rights to Miss World Bangalore. I went to see Miss World. I got a ticket. So I went. So Miss World may then later on they discussed, because the amounts of money were very small, even though I may have given 4.6 crores, I think totally, I don't know, maybe they got 40 crores, 50 crores, something like that. So in that, they found later that Bangalore police said that you have to pay for security. If I remember, these are stories 30 years old. So something like that happened, they lost 4 crores there, because they thought security is national security being given or whatever. So that security, the Bangalore police or whoever, Karnataka government, whatever, who said, ki, chalo ji, give X amount of crores for security provided for the event. So as I say, they lost a bit of money, and then so the problem in buying unlisted companies in a listed in a fund which is otherwise like we bought it in our offshore fund, is that every 2-3 months they say now value it to carry it at the correct.
So that becomes a
pain in the ass, because how do you know what is it worth? If it is zero, okay, you can say zero. But is it, if you bought it 80 rupees, is it now 70 or is it 90? Then you keep looking for benchmark. What is another similar company trading at in the public market? It is not worth this. Even if you make double, triple your money, not worth it every 3 months from where to get a benchmark price. So the lesson was, don't do all these stupid things. Zero is okay. But in between every quarter for some 3-4 years, to get a price from every, you have to ask somebody to give you a price. They might give you a price which they will say, okay, we'll benchmark it against some other listed company which is in the media industry. It's just a bad thing. Because nobody knows the exact quarterly results. By the time the results come, then you give it to that guy who's valuing it, because you can't value it yourself. You have to hire somebody who is independent.
But you learned something from Amitabh, sir?
I met him once or twice, but I didn't learn anything like that. Actually, I don't know in the end whether it was in the company or otherwise, but the fortunes turned when KBC came.
So KBC money went into the company.
It was supposed to come, but I had left before that. I think KBC became a hit in 2002. होगा शायद, पता नहीं, 2002. So I don't know, but KBC supposedly could have revived it if that money went into that company, but basically it had gone to zero before, and then maybe it was not zero. Then if you know, we read now that the UP guys put in money, so maybe that KBC money was not enough, but that was well after our exit
from Alliance. Okay.
Must have been 2002-3 की बातें होंगी या 3-4 की होंगी, maybe somewhere, or maybe 5, I don't know. I mean exact dates, but okay, forget about whether ABCL got revived, but Mr. Bachchan got revived with KBC.
I just want to quickly share that the sole intent for us to do this conversation is to learn and share insights from the best. To make it possible and sustainable, I would like to thank today's sponsor, Odoo. If you're a business owner and want to take your business online, but don't have huge budgets or tech knowledge to do it, Odoo's e-commerce builder makes it super easy for anyone to do that. All you need is just 4 simple steps. Choose your business objective and goal, your choice of color palette, pages and features you need, and a beautiful theme of your choice. And your online store is ready to be customized. Building your product catalog is simple as ever. Add key details like name, price, image, and your product page is live. Make it more aesthetic with a drag and drop blocks, animations, font style, background designs, and much more. It also has built-in tools like ChatGPT to fill in descriptions in stock image library and Splash and make your life easier. The best part? Odoo's first app is free forever with unlimited hosting and support with a free custom domain for a year. Start now with Odoo's e-commerce today from the link in the description below. Now on to the conversation. I hope you learned something valuable today. I was, watching your interviews, and one thing you said which stuck to me was that...
First of all, how many interviews have you seen?
Approximately 15-ish. And 15-ish the longer one. To study everything, and I have so many questions jo mujhe aapse puchne. So a lot of young folks, in India wants to get rich. But when you wake up, you don't pray God that you want to become rich. But what would you advise to a young guy who is looking to get rich through stock market?
Wrong. Cannot become rich through stock market.
Okay.
Because stock market, if you say I want to become rich, that is like saying, we tell companies, oh, I want to have this market cap. We say no. You say I want this sales. You can't say I want this market cap. Actually, like the Zepto guy said, we want our market cap to be, I think, 5 billion or something. So I said on Twitter, I said, how can this be your goal? That we will decide whether it's 5 billion or 3 billion. You say my sales should be so much. But but for an individual who's a young guy, you say first you get a job. On what basis are you, first of all, whose money are you bringing to the stock market? Whose money are you bringing to the stock market to become rich? By investing that money. Your dad's money. So then say, I will make my dad rich. What the hell I want to become rich by taking money from my dad and speculating in the stock market? So stock market is that your primary job is to do your job, and the savings from that you want to invest in the stock market, and so that money also makes money. But that cannot be your starting point. For 1 or 2% or maybe 3%
Of people.
it's possible that the job itself is the stock market job, which means you are doing trading or you're doing. But how every young man gets up in the morning and says, I want to come? No, please find a job, do a business, whatever. And from the savings or surplus of that, the idea is don't put it in a bank, little bit will put in a bank also, but that money be treated well or itself work. The stock market is there. Now, that stock market work you can do yourself, or for a measly 0.5% per annum we can do. So just to put it in perspective, if you put 1 lakh rupees in the market, this whole company is running that we will take from you 500 rupees in a year. 0.5% लेते हैं ना, तो 40 rupees per
2% or something.
2% तो regular class में होता है.
Okay.
It's 0.5% on a direct class. So you are paying 0.5. So 40 rupees per month you want to give us, or you want to do it yourself, is if you like doing it, you may do it for yourself. Otherwise, we will do it for 40 rupees and you can watch Netflix instead, your choice.
Let's say there is a young guy who, like you, is very passionate about markets.
But I also became passionate because I was doing a job. If I just sit and say I'm passionate, then what? Because please note that out of 1.4 billion people, there might be, of course, one Jhunjhunwala, but there might be, chalo, you count all the others, so it might be 50 people who have done so well that they are visible. Of course, many others may have done well, but their career path is not same. So then how will you copy it? हर आदमी का अलग स्टाइल है, अलग कॉन्सेप्ट है. कोई शॉप कर रहा था, उसने किया, किसी का डैड वो था. So it's not like I studied and I went to IIM, then I got a job with Levers, I got a job with Amazon. तो वो तो path is easy. Okay, you want a job with Amazon, okay, do MBA, do this, do some programming. To become an investor, there is no one background. So what to do? Do your job, and with the money surplus, invest. But otherwise, first day you are 24, you come to the market, who's going to talk to you and why? And where will you go? Who will you talk to? Which company will be willing to talk to you? Which management? Nothing. So please don't do it. That is not the way it works now. But for once in a while, somebody it will work, because 10,000 people are trying 10,000 things.
कुछ ना कुछ तो
किसी का चल जाएगा, but it's not something which today somebody can say, you also do that. So there are guys I used to meet. Abhi to bull run is on the way down a little bit. So my friends, kids and all. So he said, I invest. My dad has given me some 25 lakhs. So I said, what do you do? He says, every morning I call these 2 brokers and their sales guy tells me ki bhai aaiye, this is what we are trading. And so I said, what papers do you read? No, papers, so I don't read, but I read this and that. I said, bloody, come se kam read Economic Times, koi Business Standard, koi whatever. Read some business magazines, read some books. At least parallel mein. Don't even have to say read it before, for 3 months before you start investing. But I get up and they give me these trading idea for the day or whatever. And
then I execute.
And some you make, some you lose. How can that be work?
Because you mentioned Zepto. You know, my next interview is with whom? Adit. What is one thing that you would ask him if you were interviewing him?
I would say ki bhai, please remember that if my Zomato does not do well, you cannot go public. Because you can go public only benchmarking of the other guy.
Which is only Zomato as of now.
No,
listed one.
Swiggy is also.
Swiggy is also there, yeah.
So you have to back off a little bit. You have to show a path to profitability. You have to show you can't go public at peak losses. You can't say, abhi to every month my losses are higher and higher or same, but one day I will reduce. That also, in a particular environment you can do, but not today's environment. So now you'll have to show that last 6 months I have reduced my losses from 100 to 95 to 90, and therefore you can see how even with increasing volume and this and that, my losses are going down. So as soon as you say that, my stock will go up a lot.
ये तो advice हो गई.
हाँ, ये advice नहीं है, question बना सकते हो उसका. How will you do it? How will you do it? Because I would think that this is what you need. वो advice को आप question बना दो, उसमें क्या है?
ठीक है.
But otherwise, they have done super work at their age and say them. outstanding.
You're changing the consumer habit. That to me is insane.
But that all of them are changing. But yeah, these guys have done a great job. Because the age का भी तो responsible, that age to do it and to do it with such style that you are taking on all the old daddies also, no? Not just the quick commerce competition, which okay, all are youngish, but to take on the Tatas and to take on Flipkart and Amazons of the world.
How do you think that they can pull it off while being so young, sir?
अब ये पता नहीं, आप पूछो उनसे, हमें क्या पता.
Because you're an FII, what is one thing that you understand as an FII, but the retail investor does not?
Retail understand not only does not understand one thing, it does not understand many things. Not to worry. That I can assure you, because I'm on Twitter a lot, so I can see that what retail does not know. They know nothing. Forget about knowing a lot. They have to read more. They can't. Their information cannot be Twitter itself. If you are on Twitter, some of them, I don't know how they are investing. They're just wasting their time. They should not be doing investing like this. It's not worth it to just say that you enjoy it. Many people enjoy many things, but they are using it as a punt. It's nothing to do with FI. It has to do with anybody who's a little bit thought. For example, you see the problem with the retail guy is that he does not get access to company.
Right.
He does not get, because management obviously. So they get very enamored if they find a guy where, suppose he'll say, not literally, but say something like this. Oh, I went to this mall and this guy was shopping with his family. So let us say that guy was some CEO. Oh, what a simple man. He was doing simple pleasures like us. He's like a great man. So therefore, he has got great corporate governance. He is just a humble guy. ऐसे नहीं होता ना. So what happens is somebody will say, I went to this conference and I met these three guys and here are my takes. This is what I've seen. This is not a story. This is actual. He went to some conference. Because, not that I follow them, but because of Twitter interest, they show me all these things. So I sometimes see. So the guy will say, I went to this conference and I met 3 companies. So he's met only 3 companies, but obviously, immediately he's impressed with all of them. Because there you are getting the portrait, this thing. And also you had the first chance to meet somebody in the company. So this kind of thing, the institutional investor is meeting 500 companies in a year. So that's what I mean. You can't compete like this. You are getting enamored because of less access. Not that you don't want to do it, but that is just the way the world works. So that's what I'm saying. There's too much of, for example, on what basis can a retail investor or a small investor say that I run a concentrated portfolio because I like the quality of this management? Where did you meet them? What did you read about them? What did you understand about? No, I saw an interview of YouTube. Because how else practically, how will you even be, if you say कि कोई बड़ी company, you may never be able to meet the CEO. I never met Mr. Ratan Tata. So अब आपको कि I like the management, but I've never met. So then.
But you met Noel Tata, sir, no? Before investing.
No, that not before, because we used to own a lot of trade. We used to own 9% on a company, so they used to meet. Yeah.
What are some tools that you have access to as an FII? With a retail investor does not.
Don't say FI, say, because even mutual fund has the same tools.
Of course. It's just putting it in the same
Because
category.
we are also mutual fund also. What are the tools we have?
Tools and resources that you have access to that a retail investor does not.
Actually, these days, those tools are irrelevant. Like we have Bloomberg, which is costing some $2,500 a month.
मैं IIT Bombay में जाके उसको use कर लेता हूँ.
But not only that, it's not giving me anything extra now, which a retail investor cannot have, because unless you are saying instant. But instant nobody needs. That is if you're doing some trading. A normal fellow doesn't need. I think what we have and they don't have is that we are only doing this.
Right.
And they are only doing unless you are doing it for
your job.
This is my job. So that you could say is one. So we are attending conference calls live, sort of. Not everyone, because you don't need. But what I mean is, so that way you can say a little bit faster, but beyond a point, that's a one-day thing. So then the other thing you can say is that the investor or an analyst of an investment, this thing, is doing it in an organized way. He has database, he is a framework. ऐसे ही होता है और इससे ज़्यादा क्या फर्क होता है इसमें? But the thing is, for some reason, the retail investor thinks that this work he can also do that. So everybody says, I can do it. We don't say to the guy marketing toothpaste in liver, I can also market a toothpaste in liver. It looks such a simple job. This one also looks a very simple job. Because I can also read, but you don't, na.
Makes so much sense.
You don't. And you don't have the time to do it. And why should you do it for 40 rupees? We are doing it.
Let me do this. हमारे पास बहुत सारे रैपिड फायर क्वेश्चंस हैं, वो लास्ट में है, तो मैं उसको पहले ले आता हूँ ताकि थोड़ा सा यूनिक हो जाए. आपको जल्दी जल्दी एक लाइन में इसका जवाब देना है, ठीक है?
एक लाइन में जवाब देते नहीं है, बट आप ट्राई करो.
चलो ट्राई करते हैं. So which newspaper do you read?
Wall Street Journal and Financial Times, और इंडिया में Economic Times and Business Standard.
Which tool you use for fundamental analysis?
Bloomberg and Screener.
Best business book that you have read?
जो बड़ी अच्छी बेस्ट की नहीं जाए, मुझे याद नहीं आ रहा कोई नई. Because mostly nowadays, see, there are two kinds of books. One is books around certain stories. For example, this is The Way the World Ends. This was a book about hacking. Now, is it a business book? It's a story book about hacking. But it was absolutely interesting. Absolutely interesting. So I read those kind now. But in the end, some of these books don't help. But some books really help. For example, I read Chip War.
It's very good.
I made serious money because by reading that, I said, I have to buy NVIDIA. This was in 22.
Right.
Otherwise, I had no interest in buying NVIDIA because it was too complicated for, analyzing at that time.
You invest into US markets, so you already track all these, no?
I know, but NVIDIA, I used to think I like Mr. Buffett, simple to understand this thing. But just because of reading that book I bought, I made 8x. Then I was totally against Elon Musk. Because I used to say, तो bankrupt हो जाएगा Tesla असला. Then I read his book, the autobiography.
Walter Isaacson.
तो फिर मैंने वो भी खरीद लिए. उसमें मेरे को 3-4 टाइम बन गए. But it also depended on the timing because these books came when the stocks were down in 22 and 23. If the book had come in the previous round or the next round or फिर नहीं, then so a little bit you need to adjust to the reality also.
Chip War से आपको NVIDIA का आइडिया मिला. Elon Musk की बुक से किसका आइडिया मिला?
Elon Musk का आइडिया मिला. But finally, about 2 weeks ago, I've sold it.
Reason?
Because now I feel he is also going to be dividing I like Elon Musk and Trump, but there will be a big fight on his things in US because what Democrats and Republicans में ना, because when you are firing employees, government employees, उसमें कुछ Republican employees
फायर थोड़ी करेंगे.
नहीं, but क्या boycott हो रहे हैं, ये हो रहा है. साथ में तो टेस्ला की बात हो रही है. So टेस्ला में मुझे लगता है कि चाइनीज हर चीज में आ गए हैं पहले. हाँ, और पहले साथ में कि FSD, which is fully self-driving, वो which we thought कि maybe the next step from
Tesla would be there.
But वो भी BYD कर रहा है. और उसके बाद वो जो तीसरा है वो थोड़ा दूर का है. रोबो जो बना रहा है वो जो क्या कहते हैं ऑप्टिमस है जो भी नाम है. हाँ, so that looks a bit far. But I thought and also I've suddenly turned negative on the US market, so therefore I sold it off. But otherwise, I'm saying I bought it not because of anything that I understood of Tesla, but I thought he's a great guy. He's a great guy. There's no doubt.
What is one thing that has shocked your life, sir, recently? And I'm not talking to only investor. I'm talking to a well-read man and a well-traveled man also. So it's more like a life question.
So what has shocked me, is a strong word. Okay. What I've realized is the US is quite corrupt. We always think, India में तो बड़ा गलत है, India में तो ये हो रहा है.
Corrupt means lobbying?
Corrupt means lobbying, we can call it like that. That India में we call everything as corrupt. In some other country, we give it a different name or a different word. And then when you think beyond a point, everybody is same. It's just that we have things which we call, for example, sports betting. US में तो it's allowed. India में if somebody does it,
chance allowed है. Game of
नहीं वो बात नहीं है. I'm saying US में allowed है.
Game of chance भी allowed है.
Yeah, sports betting तो allowed है. Of course, the listed company, I own it also. One of them, पता नहीं क्या नाम है उसका. They do it on this basketball and all. It's allowed in many states, but not in all states. Okay, so India में, no, I'm not talking about the dream team types. I'm saying normal cricket booking करोगे आप कहोगे तो हवाला नहीं मतलब वो कर रहा है, illegal काम कर रहा है. तो the काम will be called, anybody who does it will be called कि कुछ गलत, कुछ बदमाशी, कुछ activity वही है. The activity does not change, but you are calling it different because you are calling it legal or illegal. So if any bookie, so cricket bookie हो तो आप कहोगे तो चोर है तो.
हाँ.
है ना?
इंडिया में तो एक है.
इंडिया में कहेंगे वहां पे कहोगे कि इसकी जॉब है बड़ी अच्छी, kind of thing. So like that, if you go down, for example, in US, you can go from government to private job. You can private equity के सारे चेयरमैन वेयरमैन सारे एक्स हमारे यहाँ म्यूचुअल रोड लेके जाओ कहेंगे ये पे ऑफ हो रहा है. तो एक्टिविटी सेम है, बट आर इंटरप्रिटेशन ऑफ द एक्टिविटी इज कि आप गवर्नमेंट में थे आप प्राइवेट में चले गए, आप प्राइवेट में थे आप गवर्नमेंट में आ गए. हमारे यहाँ इट विल बी कंसीडर्ड विद ग्रेट सस्पिशियस
कॉर्पोरेट
वहां पे हम कहोगे ठीक है अलाउड. सो आई एम सेइंग एक्चुअल प्योर कोई चीज ऐसी नहीं है जो यहाँ होती है वहां नहीं होती है, जो वहां होती है यहाँ नहीं होती. बट द इमेज, सो नाउ आई वेरी ओपनली कैन डिफेंड इंडिया to US guys and all. पहले I used to say, it's okay, emerging market, corruption generally, basically government and business or elections. well, अब क्या? अब everybody knows. हमारे यहाँ तो आपके यहाँ तो आप you do it by mail. You do it by mail. Nobody knows. Nobody checking your ID. So what I'm saying is those things in the last 1 or 2 years I've realized it's all the same यार.
ऐसा क्या रियलाइजेशन आया कि यूएस में भी ऐसा है?
Because of US recent elections and US fight between Democrats and Republicans, ज़्यादा evolution of thinking हुई है. You can say कि यार we have been blaming our guys for generations for no reason. It's all the same.
One realization you had after attending Olympics.
Which was that?
अभी recent वाला?
No, I don't remember now if I had any realization except that I don't want to attend again.
क्यों?
Because these are one time. So basically, if India is not there, beyond a point, you can. So we saw all the different games, but there was no India in it. So then you pick anybody who's like. There was one, I think, China versus कौन सी थी वो baseball, what is it, volleyball. China versus some. So for randomly, we were supporting this other country just because it was China versus that country. But what I mean is there was no skin in the game. Kind of thing. So then it's okay for one time seeing and all that.
One thing you often find yourself telling to your analysts at Helios
that this is not a job of PhD. This is a job of MBA. In the sense कि भाई खाली research ना करो, हमें कुछ actionable चीज भी बताओ. Not just that. For example, our analysts attend many meetings of at conferences. So every day there is a conference in Bombay, and each conference they will bring in 30 companies, and each analyst will meet 5 companies or 3 in a day, and they keep meeting. हम कहते हैं यार ये तुम्हारे रिसर्च के लिए नहीं, हमारे को बताओ जो करना क्या है. So actionable के लिए. So that is what I tell the most. You have attended. What are you doing? No, this is the result season. So each guy is following some 30 companies. So they are attending 30 conference calls. अब तुमने attend कर लिया, अब हम क्या करें? हमें तो बताओ. So the point is now what happens is sometimes the fund managers who are a bit distant will say हमें end result बता दो. Whereas because I myself am an analyst and do nothing else. So I want to know the in-between runny also, not just the final angle. That's what I mean. Somebody can say, okay, when I have done 30, I will analyze. I will look at Excel sheet. I will do this. Then I will tell you 3. And yeah, that will vary. You please tell us along the way. That's a difference of personalities rather than necessarily that somebody is doing right or wrong. That's the thing.
एक actionable insight का example दो मुझे. So for example, if an analyst is telling you about something, what do you categorize in an actionable insight?
वो हमारे मूड के ऊपर है. But we have had the pleasure of being long a stock for 11 years. And after selling it, within 2-3 days being short the same stock. तो ये सब स्टोरी में क्या होता है कि आपको पहले आपने बेच दिया, चलो बेच दिया. बट शॉर्ट करने के लिए एक और एक्शनेबल पॉइंट चाहिए. यार ये छोड़ो, लॉन्ग की बातें छोड़ो, इट्स ओवर. Now let's go short the same stock which till 3 days ago or no, till 4 days ago we would have defended to some client saying we like this stock for ABC reasons. 4 बार आप long भी नहीं हो, साथ में short भी हो. तो we have done it many times, including one currently.
कौन सा करना है?
That's हम नहीं बताते.
One thing that you don't like about fund managers.
Actually, I don't like fund managers. I like very few fund managers because they don't speak openly. They're always paranoid because the problem with fund management, it's a high paying job. तो मुझे ये नहीं लगता है कि वो बेचारे किसी उसके लिए कम करते हैं. हाय हमारा कोई कुछ हमसे एक लाइन इधर से उधर ना हो जाए तो पता नहीं क्या हो जाएगा हमारी जिंदगी, विच इज अ बड़ी ग्रेवी, बैठे हैं enjoying our life. They don't tell anything. They can't criticize. They can't ask openly. They are just a paranoid bunch of people, and some of them are extremely boring. So as a personality, I don't think fund
But
managers.
who are some fund managers in India that you respect? Who are not like this, that you are, not like the personality type that you are mentioning, sir?
Mostly everybody has this personality, but I may like them for other reasons, that they are, they are like that only. Ke liye I can like them.
Give me an example.
I don't give examples. Actually, I went to this I went to Jaipur
I come from Jaipur, okay.
for this.
Radhakishan Sirwali. Okay.
तो उसमें there were some 250 of these guys. So मेरे को question पूछा, which fund manager do you admire the most? So I said, I see him in the mirror every day. But then I said, just to clarify, Mega, if I say here कि I like this guy, वो फंड मैनेजर है, आप कहोगे हाँ यार इसको तो समीर भी प्रेज कर रहा है, इसका पीएमएस में डाल देते हैं, इसके म्यूचुअल फंड में डाल देते हैं, क्यों मैं बताऊं तुम्हारे को? मैं कहता हूँ नहीं, मैं ही अच्छा हूँ, मैं नहीं बताऊंगा ये बातें। और तो कई अच्छे लोग हैं जो मेरे दोस्त भी हैं 400-500, बट जनरली आई एम सेइंग दे आर वेरी नॉट, मतलब publicly they are not, they can talk much more than they talk यार। ऐसे थोड़ा होता है कि इतना थोड़ा डराया हुआ वर्ल्ड ने कि इतना भी आप बात ना करो। They are just over cautious over this thing, and I think it's not required by the system or anything. It is just whatever, I don't know. Because see, on a criticism of something which is clearly somebody is doing wrong, वो भी नहीं बोलना, कोई आपने कंपनी के अगेंस्ट नहीं बोलना, आपने कोई चीटिंग के अगेंस्ट नहीं बोलना, ऐसे थोड़ा लाइफ चल सकती है यार, इतना थोड़ा आप डर सकते हो लाइफ में।
So आप नहीं डरोगे अभी रेस्ट इंटरव्यू में?
मैं इंटरव्यू में नहीं डरता, कोई बात नहीं है, बट कई चीजें आपको बोलनी होती है, बिकॉज दैट इज पार्ट हमारे जैसे बिजनेस में। फॉर एग्जांपल आई टेल यू वन स्टोरी। देयर वाज वन कंपनी व्हिच दे हैड सम अनाउंसमेंट ऑन अ लाइक अ फ्राइडे, एंड सो आफ्टर मार्केट, एंड ऑन सैटरडे दे सेड वी आर डूइंग अ प्लेसमेंट टू इन्वेस्टर्स। ओके, सो नाउ टेक्निकली द रूल इज, और वाज अभी भी होगा, कि you cannot do this because this information is not public.
Right.
Okay. So suppose you announce something on a Friday after market. So now the information is public, but the stock price has not reacted. आप उसके 2 घंटे बाद कहो, I am doing a placement based on previous 15 days average price. That is, so there is a separate rule that you can do it on previous 15 days average. The second is that if you do that placement and then this news comes out, then people will say cheating करी। अभी इसका आंसर क्या करोगे कि the news is public,
But you can't, yeah.
So I called that guy. I said, are you shameless? The guy who was buying. He was just one of the 10 guys who was buying, but I knew only him. I said, yeah, what are you treating our market? You think that just because you will get it at Friday's price and the previous 2 weeks, and on Monday, because everybody is hot, including us and him also, कि Monday the stock will go up 10%. उसको प्रीएम्प्ट करने के लिए कंपनी ने, तो मैं तो फंड मैनेजर को गाली दे दी।
But you should give galley to the promoter, no? Because those people are doing.
Because sometimes I don't know the promoter. So I am saying, what are you doing? Because you buy this stock and yes, you will make money. But my whole country's P will go down by 0.1. Because nobody likes this kind of a market now where these kind of things happen. So I said, what is the advantage you will get? In fact, there was another company in which I was directly involved. So I was buying a company which was very similar to a company that had got listed. So the listed company had a market cap of $6 billion. And the one I was buying was some 300-400 million. So we said कि जब वो public होएगा ना, so people will realize कि not at the same scale, but उसी industry की company है, which is trading at 300-400 million. So हमारा भी कोई डबल शबल हो जाएगा कि चलो कोई नहीं, वो 6 बिलियन है, उसको 600 मिलियन 800 मिलियन कर दो। तो हम as soon as we knew that company is going public, we started buying the
Smaller
छोटू company. हाँ. After a few days, high profile guys from this city did a deal with this छोटू company and took out that part of the business. I know everybody's names and all. These things bug me because all these guys and me, all the money has been made by this market. You treat bloody the market like this. So I told that guy कि आप कल भी दाल खाएंगे और मैं कल भी चिकन खाऊंगा. Because all these guys are vegetarians. But the point is, what the hell? You are cheating not me personally in the sense, but you are just cheating the same crowd to make a little more. I mean, you already have so much. So the point is, these things, beyond a point, some of these bug me, and I don't then care for who's on the other side. But this is like chotu kaam yaar. There are bigger things to do in life than to say कि वो listed company, the second company is also listed. That has say, I don't know.
कब की बात है
ये होगी 2006 या 7 की होगी. हाँ.
तो मैंने आपकी एलिमिनेशन थ्योरी बहुत अच्छे से पढ़ी. आपने बहुत बार समझा रखी है.
मैं आप समझा भी नहीं रहा.
मुझे स्पेसिफिक कुछ क्वेश्चंस है सर. सो जो सेकंड कैटेगरी है जिसमें आपका रीजनेबल कॉन्फिडेंस एंड हाई रिटर्न्स है.
And that is not a rejection, that is for making the portfolio.
Yeah, for the first category.
For first category क्यों बोल रहे हो? First category
First elimination level. Does the same theory apply in US markets also?
US में for our portfolio, we mostly have reasonable, high confidence, reasonable return. We are not trying for reasonable confidence, high return.
Why?
Because we don't have people there. We don't have that depth. We don't have that background. That fund has been made more for me. Okay. And so we have hired a fund manager, but that we are not as much into depth in US. We know the 400th company. We are buying these regular, थोड़ा इधर से आप Netflix से Spotify में चले गए. But these are not, वहाँ पे we will not try a $1 billion company which is actually large here, sort of not large, but whatever. वहाँ पे extreme small cap. No, we buy index also. We buy, because वहाँ पे we are not claiming, neither are we selling that fund to anybody. That fund is for friends and family and all, because we don't have the background to claim कि हमें US market आती है. But because we bought all these good stocks, we have beaten their market. But I'm saying we are not at the same level of knowledge and background and track record in the US as it is in India. India, 30 years, you see the track record, bring anybody. US, we don't claim all that. US is more fun and prop.
But I want to know how do you find these companies which have, high confidence,
No, because in
reasonable confidence and high rate.
So that's what I'm saying. In India, we can say, वहाँ पे we don't know.
नहीं, India में how
वहाँ
do you
पे तो
find?
क्या हुआ कि वहाँ पे हम अपने तुक्के लगा रहे हैं कि Nvidia चल गया, वो हम बेसिक कर रहे हैं. उसमें we are not trying to find the absolute unknown multi-bagger. No, that is because we don't have that many people analyzing US companies, and that's not our business also. Our bread and butter business is India. The US fund is because we have money kind of thing, you can say, as in the friends and promoters and all those guys and employees. So that we have put into a fund structure rather than just doing it. Because otherwise US stocks we could have done on our own, nobody would care. Okay. So forget about the US as at the same level of expertise or at the same micro level of analysis that we are doing in India. India, we have same work be done by 15 people, वहाँ पे by 3 people. Okay, so different game है. वो it's like regular.
इस कैटेगरी में, इस बकेट में, इंडिया में, इस बकेट में, I want to know how do you find those undervalued?
Correct. That's great. So India में, when you have 15 people and you have a long history here and you are spending out of that 8-hour day, 8 hours in India only, and US is more shock. So that is, evening time. So there you are obviously screening more companies and meeting more guys, and you have some better understanding ki where the competition is and kya demand, kya need, kya future wo kya hai. So wo alag game hai. It's like any other fund which is buying or reviewing large companies, mid companies, small companies.
Right.
Then if they meet our whatever concept or our expectation, like for example, if you come to me and say that we have a chemical company which can go a fighter, we are not interested, but many people are. It's not that nobody is, obviously people are, and they make also. So अगर हमारे को अपने मिल जाती है, वहाँ पे we are not reviewing 500 companies ना.
I want to know कि ये जो छोटू कंपनीज होती है, टर्न अराउंड कंपनीज होती है, जो लॉस मेकिंग कंपनीज होती है, जो अंडर नोन कंपनीज होती है, ये किस थीसिस में होती है? ये आपकी कौन सी थीसिस में अभी आ रही है? अभी के पोर्टफोलियो में what are certain themes or what are something sectors जहाँ से ये तरह की कंपनीज आ रही हैं?
So our छोटू companies today would be, one is an hotel.
Okay.
One is this food delivery, which is not a chotu company, but it is a loss-making company, and we still consider it high return, which is Zomato, which we can say high return का मतलब है more than 20%. And reasonable return का मतलब है around market, maybe 2-3% more. So these days market return expectation might be 12-14%, तो 15-16% दे दे, we are happy. But if you can give more than 20, then we own Paytm. We want more than 20. So ये तो अलग-अलग वो हर वक्त कोई ना कोई चल रहा होता है ना. All of them don't give, but some give and some don't give. That's how it works.
But Zomato तो आपका first category में आ चुका है ना, जो मतलब is it a good time to enter Zomato?
No, we can't talk about individual names, but I think till your friend gets listed, there is hope, because for him to get listed, he has to cut down his aggression. If he cuts down his aggression, this stock will do well. But I don't know. Who knows? By the way, none of these stocks is it a good time to enter or bad. Nobody knows. That is the whole story. It's not necessarily because you have not gone up. Therefore, it can be a good time to enter.
One fear I personally have, sir, and please guide me on this. अभी जब Flipkart minutes आ रहा है, जब Amazon Page आ रहा है,
कोई नहीं आ रहा, वो सब आते हैं.
When these people will come, do you think the market will?
Yeah, of course. But they are not coming so easily, because the thing is the space has been taken. Now you can come and do what? You have to go to either you say that this guy is not doing delivering you. Now, for Amazon, it has to also choose between its current model and this new model. So they can, as everybody comes, in every business, people come, then the first guy is not easy to shake. Sure. And second thing is that he has to come where now 3 of them would have taken a lot of space. That is Swiggy and Zepto and Blinkit. हाँ. तो अब उसके बाद आप आ जाओ चौथे पांचवें, आप मिस कर चुके हो. आप देखो क्या करना है. I don't think we are worried about this third guy going public.
So Warren Buffett के कौन से स्टाइल से that you don't agree with?
Warren Buffett के जो स्टाइल से I don't agree नहीं. I agree with everything. I disagree 100% with his bucks, because the bucks have not understood what he does, which is he does not care for what he has written, because he says don't do this and he does that only. That is what I keep telling the world, yaar. Ki for example, he will say that you should buy only 20 stocks in your life. And I presented a paper which from somewhere I found that his average holding period is 2 years. He says don't write options or don't do derivatives, and he did derivatives. Of course, he did not be uska Bank of America ka in 2008. Then he
really no once in a.
ऐसे होता है. Then everything he does. He once tried to buy a lot of silver. He goes and buys Japanese stocks. By the way, he has a story which his friend, that Pilar, or what's his name, Monish Pabrai gave a story that Buffett, he wanted to invest in Korea. So he found that Korea handbook and he read the whole book, and he bought, I think, I said it in one presentation also, he bought 40 stocks, $1 million each. Why? Why did you buy 40 stocks?
Because you wanted to buy Korea, no?
You're supposed to buy, no, you're not supposed to. You're supposed to buy 5 stocks, total 20 stocks. That's what I'm saying. वो हर चीज change कर चुका है and करता है, and people, because he made it simple for you. And you took it too simply कि यही करना है. For example, he said, my holding period is forever. It is not.
Average is 2 years.
Not that. He says, my average holding period is forever if I find good management. Not every stock I buy now, sorry, I cannot sell it forever. Because how did he just recently sell IBM? He sold recently the airline companies. He sold Wells Fargo. अभी की बातें हैं, मतलब 2-3 साल की. IBM में भी 5-6 साल की बात है. He bought 10 billion of IBM, sold it after 3 years because it didn't work. Well, I say the same thing. Buy a lot of companies. What works, you keep. That's one more thing. I don't know exactly whether it's Mr. Buffett's line, but I think it is. Is it Mr. Buffett's line? Put all your eggs in one basket and watch the basket closely. किसकी line है?
शायद चार्ली मंगर ने लिखी थी.
Okay, फिर एक ही बात है ना. So why should you watch the basket closely? Why? Why not just buy stocks and forget? Why are you putting them in a basket and watching the basket closely? मतलब क्या होगा बात का? कि अगर अंडा खराब हो जाए क्या करोगे?
फेंकना पड़ेगा ना.
तो फिर आपने तो अलग से बोला था कि होल्डिंग पीरियड इज फॉरएवर. हम भी यही कहते हैं, जो कंपनी चल रही है उसको फेंकना नहीं, उसको रख लो. इसलिए हमने हमारे HDFC बैंक 25 साल से पढ़ा है. बट बिकॉज बैंक अच्छा कर रहा है हमारे पास है. ये नहीं कि तू बैंक गंदा कर रहा है, हम कहते नहीं हम तो लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टर हैं. सो वी आर लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टर बिकॉज यू आर डूइंग वेल. But if you are doing well, what is the greatness whether that I am a long-term investor? But you are doing well, so I'm holding you. But show me you are doing badly and I'm holding you. And saying, no, don't worry, I'm a long-term investor. No.
So if there is a young guy जो एक मार्केट में आ रहा है सर, और वो वॉरेन बफेट के लेटर से सीखना चाहता है.
सीखना ही चाहिए. सीखना ही चाहिए. लेकिन बाद में 5 साल बाद समझना चाहिए कि और भी चीजें हैं लाइफ में, ये है स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट इज ऑलवेज मिस्टर बफेट्स लेटर्स एंड ऑल, बिकॉज नहीं तो स्टार्ट कहाँ से करोगे? बाकी लोग स्ट्रेट कॉम्प्लिकेटेड बातें करते हैं ना, दैट्स द इशू। मतलब इन बाकियों की स्टोरीज फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल दे डोंट राइट डायरेक्टली, मोस्टली यू विल बी एबल टू गेट हिज स्टोरी। लाइक इफ यू रीड सोरोस की बुक, पहले तो बुक इतनी कॉम्प्लिकेटेड होगी पढ़ने के लिए, सो दैट इज व्हाई मिस्टर बफेट इज बेसिकली गोइंग थ्रू द बेसिक स्टफ फर्स्ट in the own letters and all, which I have read since from 65 वाले से। वो 65 वाले नेट पे भी मिल जाएंगे,
वो है सारी है, उनकी वेबसाइट पे है सर।
वेबसाइट पे 76 या कहीं जब से बर्कशायर में शुरू हुआ था, but when he was in his previous job, those also somebody gave me like a cyclo style kind of thing or a so 60s से है, तो वो भी मिल जाते होंगे आजकल, तो सब कुछ मिल जाता है। But what I'm saying is those are as a education.
Got it.
But it doesn't mean that it is everything. That is all I was saying when I fight with the world. Ki bhai, it is not, because I will for everything find you 5 things which he's doing different from what he's written. But as long as you broadly understand that, then there's no.
सर जो इंडिया है, जो अभी लिमिटेड अंडरस्टैंडिंग कहती है, प्लीज इस पे गाइड करिए कि इंडियन कंजम्पशन स्टोरी इज डैम्पनिंग, कंजम्पशन ग्रोथ कम हो रही है। डू यू एग्री विद दिस सर?
But that dampening may be now ना उसका।
अब इस मार्केट में जहां पर इंडिया का स्टोरी इंडिया वन इज नॉट वाइडनिंग,
अभी स्लो डाउन हो गया ना, बट सेकंड चीज ये हो गई है दैट द कंपनीज दैट आर इन ईच सेक्टर हैव गॉन अप ना। फॉर एग्जांपल प्रीवियसली देयर वाज वन लीवर्स, now for each part of lever there might be 5 companies. You are making cosmetics and personal care, okay, now there are 10 unlisted trying to do personal care. Okay, you are selling ice cream, okay, there are 17 companies doing ice cream of natural and non-natural and yogurt and whatever. So that competition also makes you feel ki
सैचुरेट। हाँ,
नहीं, not saturate, कि अब कौन सी कंपनी ली जाए, because the large guy is not doing the new stuff and the new guy is too small and some of them will succeed and some won't. तो consumption की story from our point of view and that is from an investor point of view, उसमें एक double confusion हो गया ना। एक तो slow down वैसे हो गया थोड़ा, एक है number of
people coming।
इस
मार्केट में when the consumption is literally slowing down, how will you make money as a long term investor?
So in the long term the consumption will not be slowing down. Who knows? आप तो ऐसे सैम्पल 2 बातें इकट्ठी कैसे कर रहे हैं? आप कह रहे हो करंटली एंड देन इन द लॉन्ग टर्म। सो लॉन्ग टर्म में तो सब चीजें ठीक हो जाती है लाइफ में, आपको करंटली कैसे बनाओगे? तो नहीं बनाएंगे ना, इसीलिए तो। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यू आर नॉट सपोज टू बाय एनीथिंग फॉर द लॉन्ग टर्म, अभी तो बताया, यू हैव टू बाय फॉर 2-3 years at a time and hope that your thing works out and then you keep it or add to it. But how do you know today? Because the other guy also doesn't know.
What are some industries जो आज आप नोटिस कर रहे हैं रिसेंटली जो डिस्ट्रप्शन हो रहा है जिस इंडस्ट्रीज में?
एक भी नहीं है जिसमें नहीं हो रहा है आजकल। इनफैक्ट इफ यू लुक एट कार में, तो मैं रोज बोलता हूँ कि हो रहा है,
उसका
पीवीआर में रोज हो रहा है।
yes.
अभी मैंने लेटेस्ट कौन से में देखा, मैंने कहा ये भी डिस्टर्ब, हाँ आईटी हमारा डिस्टर्ब हो रहा है बिकॉज ऑफ एआई, राइट? बिग पिक्चर में तो हो ही रहा है ना। यू माइट गेट डिलेड और यू माइट गेट बिजनेस टू हेल्प द client disrupt you in the end. Right. For example, somebody may give you a contract project to say, tell me how I can use AI later on, which means you are helping him replace you.
Right.
है ना? तो ये भी disrupt हो रहा है। हम तो कहते हैं कि फास्ट फूड डिसरप्ट हो रहा है बिकॉज आजकल लोग कहेंगे हेल्दी फूड खाना है। बड़ी चीजें आप कहोगे, एक्चुअली तो आपको स्वीट डिसरप्ट हो रहा है बिकॉज ऑफ एक्सरसाइज। यू मस्ट हैव रेड दैट इन बर्लिन these clubs and all are shutting down because the reason is that now the young guys don't want to be up late, don't want to drink, and they want to do exercise in the morning or they want to go on hikes. They like those kind of activities and also shutting, matlab sleeping or not sleeping, but packing up at 10-11, and they don't like this 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock wala. I mean, some still like, obviously nothing is key, but the numbers have come down because of health consciousness, or just the people are not drinking as much. People are not smoking as much because different हो गया ना यंग क्राउड में।
इसकी वजह से सर सिन बिजनेसेस जो बोलते हैं कि हर एरा में सिन बिजनेसेस ने बहुत ज्यादा पैसा कमाया। डू यू थिंक दिस थिंकिंग विल?
सो अब क्या होता है, अभी एग्जैक्टली ऐसे नहीं हो। अब आप कह सकते हो कि सपोज 12% ग्रोथ होनी थी, 11 होगी, कोई फिर भी पैसे बना लेगा, बट बिग पिक्चर आई एग्री नहीं बनेंगे इतना। मतलब बिग पिक्चर एज कंपेयर टू बिफोर, थोड़ा सा आई रेड दैट इन यूएस बियर ड्रिंकिंग इज डाउन। It is down because people have changed their style. ना आप करो क्या? The time is the same. Now it is a different.
कौन से ऐसे डिस्ट्रप्शन है जिनकी वजह से हम पैसे बना सकते हैं एज ए इन्वेस्टर? आज के टाइम पे
कौन से डिसरप्शन
में जिसमें हम पैसे बना
हम एक डिसरप्शन कर रहे हैं ना, हम किराने वाले की डिसरप्शन कर रहे हैं, कोई ना कोई डिसरप्शन. बाय द वे, देयर इज वन मोर कॉन्सेप्ट. नोबडी इज मेकिंग एक्स्ट्रा मनी without taking it from somebody else. Extra return, not money. Extra return means, let us say the market is growing 12% per annum. Okay. General economy, rupee terms. Mein. If your stock is going up 25% per annum, it cannot be. That no, of course it can be. I'm saying it cannot be that you have not killed somebody else who should have otherwise grown at 12. For example, Apple, how did it become so big? It killed how many people? It killed Sony, it killed Fujitsu, it killed, say, HP. Let's say big.
It's a zero-sum game, you mean?
It's a zero-sum game beyond the growth. Amazon ने कैसे बनाया? Amazon killed booksellers, let us say. It killed individual mom and pop stores. It killed somebody else to make much more than the Google. Google killed, say, magazines.
Value migration is a concept.
It killed ad wherever the ads were going. So you can't just grow on your own, because randomly, how can you grow and others growing the same? So that way, what I'm saying is, big picture, everything is being disrupted by somebody for you to grow much more. Like HDFC Bank, it disrupted private public sector bank. तो कहीं से तो आएगा वो एक्स्ट्रा, वो अपने आप से नहीं आएगा.
सर, आपने जब न्यूजीलैंड और जापान के मार्केट जब आप ट्रैक करते थे, what are certain things that you have learned from these markets?
No, that, first of all, I did it only for 2 and a half years, because India. And in that 2.5 years, I learned in Japan that I should not do Japan, because I never know the Japanese language. That's why I quickly chose the India option.
Okay.
And New Zealand was also, and I did Australia also. So those were my early days. So
ऐसा कुछ है जो हम, क्योंकि you are one of the rare managers जिन्होंने वो सारी countries भी देखी हैं, other emerging markets भी.
But उसमें those were basically, you're still doing research only. So one thing I can tell you what happened. So when I started covering Rothman's Australia. So Rothman's Australia for the previous 10 years was the number one performing, actually in the index, the number one performing stock in the index. Okay, so I thought, let me do this. It was easy to rate it a buy, since it's anyway 10-year number one performer. So after करते मैं गया तो sell है. And so I put a sell on it in our company. So it was not sell, you had to do 1, 2, 3. 3 means sell. So it was 3. And then few months later, Philip Morris lost a case in the Supreme Court in the US, or there was a settlement, and I think they had to pay $26 billion over some X years to the states for passive smoking. And US, Philip Morris fell, I forget, but some 15-20% in a day, which was like shocking. उसके चक्कर में वो गिर गया. Rothman, तो मेरा trade में right हो गया. But I still use that without, now you're reminding me, I never remember this, but in big picture sense, if that sector is not doing well in one market, it is not going to do well in the other market, even if that problem of the US market is not there. It's not there. No, solved nahi. It is not there. Because people, you tell me, somebody will say that recently Supreme Court just killed this industry in the US. India में ले लेते हैं. Okay, छोड़ो ये trend आ जाएगा, ये मतलब like that, something like that. You and a foreign fund manager will say, I just lost money in this industry in USA, let me try it in India. वो भी नहीं होता ना. Indian guy will just relate and the foreigner will not do. And mostly thematically trend same होते हैं, except that you can say कहीं में पहुंचे नहीं है. For example, I did not buy this gym company, I think Mrs. Talwarkar gym. It was a perfect middle class, becoming health conscious and exercise conscious and all that. But हमने कहा ये वहाँ पे नहीं चलते. So you have to see that across markets. If you little bit, you can beyond a point. Who knows?
Elon Musk से मिलो सर आप?
कहाँ से मिलो? मुझे मिलवा दो यार. मैं उससे सेल्फी लेना चाहता हूँ.
I am quite confident that there will be a time that I will host him. So tell me one question that we should definitely ask him. Because you are his friend, sir.
No, I am not his friend, Elon.
Fan. मतलब.
So Elon Musk का question ये होना चाहिए कि यार, it's 6 things, 7 things that you do. Please show us your time. How do you spend your day? Because it is amazing that he sends out sometimes as much as 200 tweets a day.
और उसके बाद वो भी चला रही.
और वो of course you can say कि हर जगह उसकी टीम है. नहीं, but हर जगह उसकी टीम है, तो खाली उसी को ये टीमें क्यों मिली है, किसी और को क्यों नहीं मिली ऐसी teams that you can do it. I mean, he's just amazing, man.
You trade also from your personal portfolio?
I don't have a personal portfolio because I am the investor in my fund and my fund trades. हाँ.
Got it. So I'm going to Berkshire Hathaway conference for the first time. जो third week हो रही है.
You will be hugely disappointed. I enjoyed it. The reason is that now Mr. Buffett spends less time.
Mm-hmm.
Previously, when I went in 13, and already 18 when I went, it was different. So 13 में क्या होता था? One day will be the conference, the whatever AGM, whatever 8 a.m. say I think 3-4 p.m. And then next day they will do a social event जहाँ पे वो उसके जो ज्वेलरी कंपनी है, क्या नाम है, Borsheim's. So Borsheim's में Warren Buffett will be selling.
Oh.
Okay, so we went 2-3 days before, and so they said कि this thing some $15,000 है. If you want to buy it, we can organize that day. Buffett will give it to you. हमने कहा नहीं, हमें नहीं चाहिए. So anyway, छोड़ो. So हम वहाँ खड़े, वही तो है साहब, हमें नहीं चाहिए, बकवासी चीज थी. Anyway, so the whole game there was that Mr. Buffett will sign the whatever
Books and stuff.
The book nahi. The jewelry will be sold by because it is okay. And then outside he'll play table tennis with some Chinese guy, their lady they got, and then there was a bridge. There were some 6-8 tables where Bill Gates is playing bridge, and Warren Buffett was not playing bridge, but Bill Gates will be playing bridge. So ये सब चीजें होती थी.
इस बार नहीं होती, अब नहीं होती.
अभी नहीं, 18 में भी नहीं हुई. So age के साथ ना, so second day they all left it. अब second day you can go, but he is not there. And neither is Bill Gates की वो लड़ाई होगी जो भी हो गया. So Bill Gates also is not there. So nobody is there on the second day, but the event is there. That event on your own, who cares about going? Hai? Now, if you see the program, he's not even talking about the second day.
Yeah.
And first day also it ends at 1. So it's going to be only for 3-4 hours now. Not even in the afternoon.
So मुझे नहीं जाना चाहिए.
ऐसी मेला है, चले एक बार सब जाते हैं, चले जाओ. बट दूसरी बार जो आदमी तीसरी बार जाता है ना,
वो बोर हो जाता है.
वो खाली अपने कहानी सुनाने के लिए जा रहा है. He doesn't learn one word because पहली बात तो अब तो उस पे आ जाता है,
रिकॉर्डेड आ जाता है,
अपने याहू में आ जाता है. सेकंड इज वही कोई बात बार बार होती है. अब आपने जाने नहीं, अब लोग नेटवर्क के लिए जाते हैं कि सारे वर्ल्ड के वैल्यू. मैं तो ऐसी जो में इंटरेस्ट नहीं, मेरे को कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं ऐसे फालतू. ये कौन लोग जाते हैं जो लोग प्रॉप कर रहे हैं, उनका नेटवर्क कहाँ से बना है? हम तो नौकरी करते हैं, हमारे तो एम्प्लॉइज हैं, एनालिस्ट हैं. हम तो कंपनी को मिलने जाते हैं, हम कहेंगे ये सर समीर अरोरा मिला, हम तो जी हीलियोस से आए हैं, हम तो जी म्यूचुअल फंड मैनेज करते हैं. जो अपने आप पैसे मैनेज करता है वो जाएगा, वही can't go and say I invest, हो क्या भाग जाए. Even unless he is a billionaire and therefore he has. So we तो are enjoying with the aggregate money that we have कि भाई we can go and meet a high profile CEO or a owner. Individual कैसे करे? So therefore they go to these places and they form their own community. So that is a value for somebody who needs that as an angle. I don't need that community.
Got it. ये 5 क्वेश्चंस हैं जो आप थोड़ा सा सोचना आंसर करने, बिकॉज़ ये नहीं हो सकते हैं. आई विल रिस्पेक्ट योर टाइम.
ठीक है, पूरी देर होगी.
अगर एक जिनी आता है और वो पूछता है आपकी लाइफ में व्हाट आर 3 थिंग्स दैट यू रियली रियली वांट, व्हाटएवर यू आस्क विल बी गिवन टू यू, व्हाट विल दोस 3 थिंग्स बी?
हम ऐसे लालच वाली बातें नहीं बताते लोगों को.
I want to know the deepest desires of you at this point in time.
What you really want in life at this stage is time. Not time in a day. Time. Because अब आप end game में आ रहे हो. And every day you feel, for example, अब हम घर में सोचते हैं कि लाइफ का मतलब नहीं समझ आया. जो this Siddharth and all didn't understand. Buddha didn't understand कि ये what is the story of life? Life की story समझ ही नहीं आई है कि है क्या. You do so much and then when you die they don't even say कि वो कहते हैं body. Body आ गई है घर. Even the fellow's name is not used. है ना? It's a deep. ज़्यादा मैं सोचता नहीं हूँ, but अगर सोचो it's very confusing. What is the end game of life? So what is it that you want is time, यार. You don't want that end now because अब लगता है अभी तो मजा आ रहा है, अभी तो फैमिली है, अभी तो बच्चे हैं, अभी तो ग्रैंड बच्चे हैं. So what you want actually a time. Time is a bloody killer, man. Because suddenly yesterday only I told one guy, I said I can't believe it is already 1 year since I last wished you happy birthday. Because इसका फिर बर्थडे आ गया, इसका तो अभी बर्थडे हुआ था भाई, कहीं कैसे फिर से आ गया. It's you can't imagine, man. Time when as you grow, time. the killer. It goes so fast. It really goes fast, man. Time is a very big issue.
ठीक है, जिनी ने आपको दिया टाइम, क्या करोगे टाइम के साथ?
वो हमें नहीं पता, हम यही करेंगे चाहे, बट ये हमें नहीं पता, बट टाइम मेरे को ये पता है कि ये लगता है साले खत्म हो गया तो टाइम.
But if you were young, if you were given time, how will you spend that? I completely understand that you are thinking your time थोड़ा और होना चाहिए था. I really
नहीं, होना नहीं चाहिए था, होना चाहिए. Time should go slowly. See, it's simple. If you are enjoying life, you want time to go slowly.
Of course.
है ना भाई, simple बात है.
दूसरा वाला, what is one problem in your life that if a young person solves in your life and business, you are ready to pay?
Outperformance every day.
Because you travel a lot, sir, tell me some very, very good business model that you have observed at other places, which you think India में यार ये disruption होना बाकी है. This business model can come to India very well.
Actually, pehle these were very easy to think. Actually, that's why in the initial years, the easy way to make money was to see whether this model had worked
In anywhere else.
But actually, that way, if I look at it, mostly हम चीजें आगे, because the public is very connected. Now it is very rare to say कि ये चीज इंडिया में है ही नहीं और वहाँ पे somebody is raking it in. So that way, it might be more difficult now to think कि कौन सी चीज है which is a big hit there and is not here at all. पता नहीं यार, अभी कोई दिमाग. I'm saying because now there's not much that way left कि भाई India is allowing a gap. पता नहीं, अभी ख्याल नहीं आ रहा. Mostly cover हो गया ना, क्योंकि
याद आए तो ट्वीट कर देना, ठीक है? One thing that is there in Singapore but not in Mumbai.
Singapore has many things which Mumbai does not have. Best is that my commute time is 20 minutes.
What is one thing that Bombay has that Singapore doesn't?
What Bombay has and Singapore does not have is my bigger network of aligned interest. Bombay has more energy for me, but need not be for everybody.
Do you miss people? Do you miss your family in Singapore? Or do you miss your community in Singapore?
No, I don't miss my community in Singapore because I go to Singapore to recover from Mumbai or India and traveling. Singapore is like my health recovery, where I walk, where I eat healthy food. So it is to recover from my travel. Dono, why I like this combo is that in Singapore, I am a very, what is the word? Disciplined in eating, in walking, in exercise. And here I do nothing like that, even think like that. So mera combo mein both works. But I don't miss this there or that here in that sense because of just living two different lives. Here I'm always in a hotel. I don't even have a home. Here in Delhi I have, but mostly I'm in Bombay.
And what is one thing that you often find yourself telling it to your daughter, teaching it to your daughter?
That she should start going 5 days to work, but she goes only 2 days because she says in London, the office is not opening up for 5 days. I say, how will you grow in life? So please, all the young guys, please go to office 5 days. Don't rely on this 2 days, which my daughter does.
Why do you want them to go to office for 5 days? Is the world is like this?
Because I went 5 days. So I said, ये क्या नौकरी है आपकी? तो वो खुश होते हैं कि Wednesday, Thursday only is office. And बाकी 3 days there is no office. यार मुझे ये बात concept नहीं समझ आया. So I say, no, go. She said, what? Go where? Just work from home for the balance days. So the point is, my advice to everybody, including my daughter, is that please work harder so that you can accept or you can grow, whatever.
Can you tell us about the story about the case that you had with SEBI?
I can tell only that I won everywhere and I'm the only guy in India who has not settled.
तो आप कैसे बच गए थे उससे?
क्योंकि मेरा कुछ गलत ही नहीं था. It was super high profile case. And to win and then get a mutual fund license from the same regulator is not a everyday job.
Got it. One thing that you have learned from Trump, observing Trump.
Trump is a hero of mine. He's a hero.
Your hero?
No, not my hero. What is a hero? He's a complete hero. I like Trump's style of calling everybody into the room and signing and saying live question पूछते जाओ while you are working. I am working. Yes. What is your question? Press वाले में अंदर बैठे हैं. And full book is open. Full life is open. Whether right or wrong, of course.
और कुछ उल्टा बोल दो तो next question.
Next question. But he's too good, man. He's too good. Plus, everything that is wrong, he has figured it out first. That he may not have an answer for it. He figured out that China is my threat. He figured out that wokeism is an issue. He figured out that Europeans are not paying. Everything that he has figured out 5, 8, 10 years ago. And that also, if you see his older interviews, when he was 40 and 30, वही बातें कर रहा है. Have you seen his interview with that वो कौन सी lady है, वो that black Oprah Winfrey, वो सारी वही बातें कर रहा है कि we are being taken for a ride. No, right or wrong बात की बात है. And then one more thing, everything that he said, people said ये थोड़ा करेगा, वो कर रहा है. mean, people thought ये तो आपने election जीतने के लिए you are saying these things, but to actually doing, yeah, that is amazing.
What is one thing that you're shorting now? One sector that you're shorting right now?
Right now we are shorting automobile.
Automobile के अलावा बताओ सर, automobile कितनी बार बता चुके हो आप?
So you said right now. So right now, what did we short to today? We shorted today also. We are shorting a little bit of IT.
Why?
Because we think A, it has been disrupted. B, this is the most uncertain time for IT because you have to give guidance in April, New Year. And the clients have the highest uncertainty up to 2nd April because they don't know what is their tariff. Tourist client है.
Right.
और आपको 10th April, 15th April को हमें बताना है कि नेक्स्ट ईयर क्या आपका नंबर क्या है, तो आपको कौन बताएगा? बिकॉज योर क्लाइंट इज गोइंग टू से गेट आउट ऑफ हियर. आई डोंट नो माय इंडस्ट्री में क्या हो रहा है, कौन मेरे पर टैरिफ लगा रहा है, मैं किस पे टैरिफ लगा रहा हूँ, मेरे इनपुट पे क्या हो रहा है, हाउ कैन आई टेल यू? सो दे विल से जस्ट गेट लॉस्ट, कम बैक 2 months later. Big picture. Because you are asking, that is we are asking for guidance right at the time when वहां पे इतनी अनसर्टेनिटी हो रही है, विच इज योर कस्टमर. भाई सोचो, मार्च में कंपनी गिविंग गाइडेंस टू आवर मार्केट इन अप्रैल itself has to ask its clients in Feb and March. So today you ask any US company, कि what do you think, what will be your IT? Expo कहेगा यार अभी ठहर जाओ, क्यों मुझे तंग कर रहे हो सुबह सुबह. So there is both the micro of AI type, which is attacking you on coding. It is attacking you on analytics. And therefore, अगर suppose you become more productive, how much will the customer keep? How much will the company keep that you can do work of, 100 people can do 120 people का work. तो आपका 20 people का demand चला गया, which 20 people more you would have hired. Now the same 100 will do. Because you have whatever, model shorter. So now, will you get paid how much more? So suppose the guy says, okay, I'll pay you for 102, but you're only giving 100 people. So that is great. But 20 people नहीं मिले ना अब, तो आपका revenue कहाँ गया? आपको चलो profit मिल गया. Nobody is interested in profit. People revenue. I mean both.
Do you think अगर AI की वजह से people free हो जाएंगे, तो this will add to your travel वाला theme, experience वाला theme sir?
नो सर, आई थिंक बेचारों को एम्प्लॉयमेंट नहीं मिलेगी. ये तो नेगेटिव है वैसे, अगर ज्यादा एनालाइज करोगे तो. और ट्रैवल थीम तो तब करे, उसके बाद पैसे होने चाहिए. So sorry. वो कहाँ से हो गए?
Do you think it can be a problem for the India masses, जो पढ़े लिखे, मतलब people, the youth, but undirected youth? What will these people do?
Very sad.
These people will...
What about customer का क्लाइंट BPO कैसे चलेगा? चलेगा ही नहीं बेचारा.
कॉन्टेक्ट सेंटर तो खत्म हो जाएंगे. तो फिर ये जो जिन लोगों को 12,000 रुपए 15,000 रुपए की जॉब मिलती है,
तभी तो ये तो है भैया.
This is a risk for economy. Do you really believe that?
Yes. There are no jobs. In Singapore just now, what's his name? Piyush Gupta, he's the CEO of DBS. Yeah. He just said for the first time in 15 years, I'm not able to create jobs.
If that's happening to Singapore.
Yeah, because of IT solving things which previously, if you suppose you have people working in answering customers' questions, हो गया बेचारे job. अब वो आपको 10 के बदले 2 people are required because 8 the app is answering or whatever, the program is answering, AI is answering. तो कैसे काम होगा?
मैं एक चीज और आपसे सुन रहा था. You think India will never catch up with China? Why do you think so? So
China, where will it hold still or stand still? So how can you catch up? You can always be 3rd, 4th, which is okay. I will never catch up with Buffett. तो क्या हो गया फिर? अब ठीक है, अपने खुश है, हम भी, वो भी खुश है.
तो चाइना में अगर हम एक्सपोजर लेना चाहें, कैसे ले सकते हैं सब एज इन्वेस्टर्स? हम इंडिया में बैठे हैं, हमको पहले से ही पता है.
That I don't know, but
आप कैसे लेते हो?
हम तो लेते हैं, हम तो NRI है ना, तो हम तो लेते हैं. हमारा तो स्टॉक्स है, अलीबाबा है, ये वो. तो that तो outside India to buy any stock, or you can buy a fund. I also own a fund ETF called KWeb, which is a ETF of the top पता नहीं मतलब of IT का, I mean this tech companies of which is like Alibaba or JD.com and Baidu. तो खाली उसका है वो. It's like having a top 7 वो जो US कंपनीज का या 10 कर लो, उसका बना लो. ये इसने चाइनीज का बनाया हुआ है.
बट आपको डर नहीं लगता है चाइना, वही जो आपका चाइना को लगा कि यार इस इंडस्ट्री को मारना है?
नहीं, अब तो इंडस्ट्री को नहीं मार रहा ना, उल्टा हो गया अब तो. पहले सुना था, अब तो सब ले रहे हैं ना. बट एक और बात होती है, मारेगा तो फिर वो 2% जो हमारा उसमें वो आधा हो जाएगा. क्या करें? इट इज पार्ट एंड पार्सल ऑफ द गेम, बट it is an easy thing to buy in case somebody can buy. Because in one ETF you get the top 10. हमको क्या पता, मुझे भी क्या पता कि JD.com बेटर है कि वो दूसरा बेटर है. But Alibaba I have separately, and one more I have separately, which is Trip.com, which is the parent of Make My Trip.
ओह, चाइना में क्या कर रहा है वो?
चाइना की कंपनी है Trip.com. नहीं, Make a parent.
हाँ, Make a parent.
Parent means he has some 30-40% stake of Make My Trip.
Okay.
I also had Make My Trip. It did very well, but now I don't own Make My Trip.
Is there any new entrant in your दूसरा वाला category list which can be Zomato for tomorrow? Any sector, industry, mega trend जिसकी वजह से आपने recently करा है, जो अभी तक आपने बताया नहीं है? And this is only to learn. सर, क्योंकि हम तो स्टूडेंट्स, हमारे पास तो पैसे ही नहीं लगाने के.
ये तो है बात. बट आपका पॉडकास्ट तो नॉन स्टूडेंट भी देख सकता है,
तो उनको भी फायदा हो जाएगा.
इसमें एक्चुअली इट्स नॉट वेरी कॉम्प्लिकेटेड. मेरे को याद नहीं रहता, बिकॉज हमारा म्यूचुअल फंड इज 100% ट्रांसपेरेंसी. तो आप देख लेना, अभी मार्च में या फेब में आपको नजर आ जाएगा चेंज फ्रॉम.
कैसे देख सकते हो? वेबसाइट पे आप पब्लिश करते हो?
कंपल्सरी है ना रिक्वायरमेंट.
बट बाकी सारे पीएमएस नहीं दिखाते.
पीएमएस नहीं, म्यूचुअल फंड.
ओके, यस.
So the mutual fund, although technically managed by a different guy, but research तो कॉमन ही हो रही है ना.
अब आपका पीएमएस भी तो है.
हाँ.
तो अच्छा, मुझे एक बात और पूछनी थी. मैं पीएमएस का देख रहा था. Is it true that पीएमएस का प्रॉफिट पूल is only 900 crores in India?
प्रॉफिट
पीएमएस एज अ बिजनेस का प्रॉफिट पूल is 900 crores.
900 करोड़ में आपका मतलब है 90,000 करोड़ AUM है. 900 वो 1% मिलते हैं.
1% मिलते हैं.
तो यू मीन से 90,000 करोड़ AUM है.
पीएमएस का कितना होगा? नहीं, इससे ज्यादा होना चाहिए.
$12 billion, $10 billion. नहीं, इससे ज्यादा होगा.
इससे ज्यादा होगा, क्योंकि बहुत सारे लोगों का है. एक दे दे.
2 बिलियन तो बहुत हो गया. हाँ, तो ये नहीं होगा. नहीं, पर फिर भी हो सकता है 90 बिलियन हो. 90 लोगों का तो ना $1 बिलियन होगा. हो सकता है.
तो बट ऐसे तो ये तो बहुत छोटी इंडस्ट्री है. इट्स लाइक इट्स ज्यादा, मतलब 1000 करोड़ तो नहीं कमा सकते.
इफ यू सी पीएमएस जो खाली करते हैं, उनके एम्प्लॉइज कितने होते हैं? 10 एम्प्लॉइज. तो फिर 10 एम्प्लॉई होंगे, 10 करोड़ रुपए बन रहे हैं, और कितने चाहिए आपको? These PMS is not a business, it's a job. In the sense, it is related to that person doing himself. Mutual fund is a business. PMS is a job. Like my hedge fund is my job. If I'm not there, that hedge fund is very, become more difficult. Whereas mutual fund is a business.
My dear sir, thank you so much. Genuinely grateful.